Hey guys, how's it going? I can't believe I'm gonna sell this, but I think I am. This is my Triumph Perfekt, and this thing is pretty close to perfect. The decals are all in great condition. The body is almost untouched. The case is pretty brutal. Still fully functional, but I'll show you at the end of the video. It's definitely worn on the outside, and it's missing the feet, but still latches closed securely, and the handle is still really, the spring on the handle is still really tight. It's not like just flaccid or loose. It's really springy, which is nice. And it kind of has a patina to it, but again, I'll show you at the end of the video. For now, this is the Triumph, and man, this is, I don't know, this might be the best typewriter that I've ever used. The return is just like butter smooth, and I'd heard people talk about it before I had one. I actually kind of passed when I first saw them. I don't know, I wasn't drawn to them, and then I happened to stumble across one in person, and I got to use it, and man, I was sold. And the bell is just so unique. It's like a resounding ding, but it's not super loud. Just kind of lingers for a couple seconds, and man, I love it. Everything works perfectly. This is how you set tabs. You push up for a tab, you pull it down when you want to get rid of it, and then same thing over here. The color selector is just up for red, the middle is a stencil, then black is to the bottom, and both of these levers still have a really solid thud click when you're going between positions. You don't really have to guess whether or not you're in the right position or whether you clicked it. Like it's, I'm not sure this was used very much at all when I first bought it, because it was so perfect. Like the slugs, there was no ink on them. I mean, and everything is so clean all throughout the machine. The only issue was it was stuck to the bottom, which a lot of these old Triumphs, it happens, and not just Triumphs but other typewriters, and so I had to fiddle down in here to remove some C-rings, and then it slid right off the base, and I still have the parts, but that's the only thing. This thing is just, it's really immaculate, and I want you to see, I'm going to try to show you these decals. I mean, just like perfect, and all the, all the numbers, all the scales on the paper bail, and over here, and it's really just, this is the carriage lock right here, really smooth. This, of course, you got the flip up, and that thing extends. That thing extends up another 6 inches or so for those who are so inclined. And then, of course, you got the margins right here. Just slide them back and forth. And this one, obviously the same thing. But man, this thing is clean. And I really can't believe I'm selling it, but I am. And I'm gonna give you guys a type sample here, and I'll pull it out of the typewriter at the end, and I'll show you. This thing probably leaves the cleanest and most even impression of any typewriter I've ever used, and that's including an Erica 8, which I never thought anything would surpass. An Erica 8 with a new platen. I think this still has a cleaner imprint, and so I'm just going to show you. I'll show you guys all the uppercase and lowercase letters, figures, etc., and you can see this thing's legit. This thing is a workhorse. It's awesome. If I center that just right, I can get it under there without doing that. But anyways, And I'll give you black and red too. No shit, I'm literally having second thoughts about selling this typewriter because of how easy it is to use. It's insane. Backspace is perfect. And I'll show you how to set the tabs. This thing is so awesome. I'm pretty sure it slows down a little when you're using the tab, so you don't get that crash when because I mean on some typewriters you press the tab, this thing just zooms across and it'll literally move the typewriter like 6 inches. But I think I have 5 or 6 set. Nope, I have none set. Okay, so I'm gonna set 4 or 5, and you're just pressing up. I set them. And then to get rid of them, you're just gonna go back to those same spots, and you're gonna pull it down. Oh my god. This thing is so sweet. This is the margin release over here. Again, something I never use, but obviously it works. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. I'll pull this out and show you guys how clear this imprint is. I have a feeling this is a relatively new ribbon. I've only had this machine for a few months, but when I bought it, this is how it was printing, and I haven't, I maybe typed 10 pages or so on it, but man, this thing is really clean. And you can see everything's aligned, uppercase, lowercase, everything is super clear. And I don't know what else to say. This thing is awesome. This thing is an awesome work machine. I'll show you the case here. Again, like I said, not as stellar condition. In fact, the polar opposite. But this is it. And you can see it's pretty, I'm gonna call that a patina. But this handle, I'm just gonna pull it down and let it go to show you how strong the spring is. A lot of times these are all broken and they're just like hanging, but this is how strong this spring still is. It's really fine. And opens right up here. So these are where normally there's like a piece of rubber sticking up that fits over a hole underneath the typewriter. It's not really necessary. I'm gonna include the parts in a little baggie, and there's actually a tutorial that can walk you step by step for how to basically how to replace the little piece of rubber. But I'm not gonna mess with that. So if you want to do that, it's fine. Otherwise, it locks in. Doesn't really lock in, but you put the typewriter obviously on the base, and you kind of pull it against these two brackets, and just make sure it's center, and that's pretty much good to go. You've got little pads right here, so when you set it down, it's not metal on metal. These are rubber or some type of softer material, and then up here you've got some more rubber pieces. So it's not like it's bouncing around in the case. It's a tight fit inside. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a little, this thing, because these normally have the feet. Normally this would be elevated, but it's just resting on the table. It's not really hurting it. I mean, it's riveted here and obviously over here. But yeah, this is my Triumph Perfekt. I think it's a 1962, but I'm not sure because the serial numbers tend to get kind of like towards the end of the 60s on the typewriter database. It's kind of unclear, but there's tons of 62s. Well, not ton. I think there's maybe like 10 that look just like this. So I'm going to call this a 1962. But again, this is a great typewriter, and I actually think it's a really cool case. You'll notice the emblem is the same as the motorcycle company, and they are related. They made typewriters at one point. They don't anymore. But man, you will not be disappointed with these two, I guarantee it.